Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Listen y'all, I have done this review 4 times. My computer keeps crashing. So let's just get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, Brandon is FaceTiming Dom because y'all know he ain't doing no work. Brian is showing us his skills on the grill. And Kandi is telling Todd that the young people were talking smack about them because y'all know Patrick went and run told that. So she wants to have a town meeting so they can say everything they need to say. So Todd gonna say, well, I don't want to do tit for tat, but they ain't doing what they supposed to do either. Todd, do not get defensive, okay? Y'all need to take some constructive criticism. In the next scene, the OLG is open for the day and Shandrika is telling them to scan the code for the menu, but if you have an Android, then they're gonna give you a paper menu. Okay. Listen, no Samsung slander will be tolerated and won't. Moving forward. So she's working hard and whatnot, honey, working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. And in comes Safari and Patrick. They want to play in her face. Patrick is being petty and childish. She comes in and sits at the table right across from the host stand. To do what? Order his girl some cornbread and some water. Sir, cornbread and water? Then this boy gonna say, it's because she's vegan. Okay. Nothing about that cornbread is vegan. Now, y'all know Kandi ain't gonna be playing with no soul food vegan cornbread. Now, y'all know she not gonna do that. So I don't even know why you came in there like that. That cornbread was far from vegan. And also, I want to ask y'all this. Do you incorporate mayo in your cornbread recipe? Now, I done seen some stuff. I done seen people put sour cream and all kind of stuff in cornbread, child. Just give me just regular. I just don't know, honey. I'm not a mayo fan, so I feel like now that I know the mayo was in the cornbread, I ain't going to be able to eat it. Sometimes I get childish with my food choices and whatnot. So I don't know if I'd be able to do that. But anyway, he up there showing out looking absolutely ridiculous. Brandon comes over. They start talking about his birthday dinner. Patrick is like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. This is my +1. She's my queen. Okay, we get it, honey. You like her. You love her. And I was surprised that Safari even came into the OLG. She acts like everybody that he knows makes her skin itch. So I'm just so shocked that she would come in and let alone sit across from Shandrika, knowing they used to have a situationship. So that was confusing to me. He was like, yeah, we just came in and she's going to be my +1. So up comes Torin. And so, Torin shows up and Patrick is like, yeah, we were in the area. So she just wanted some cornbread and some water. Patrick, y'all could have just jumped the fence and been at y'all house, honey, and got some Jiffy and a cup of water. Because this ain't vegan. So if you really wanted some cornbread and some water, honey, y'all could have did that at the house. So Torin starts talking about the apartment shopping because he knows that he's going to be doing the interior decorating, or so he thought. So here go Patrick. Girl, hit him in his back to jumpstart his throat. Sir, speak your speech. What are you going to say? Do you want him to still do it? You don't. He's like, yeah, I'm going to let Safari do it. So he was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. But what about the housewarming? Are you doing that too? She was like, housewarming? I don't know nothing about that. He said, oh, okay. So Patrick was like, well, no, she doesn't want me to have a housewarming because she don't want people knowing where I stay at. First of all, don't nobody care where you stay at. And just say she don't want Shandrika to know where you at. Boy, goodbye. Safari is a little controlling, ain't she? Meanwhile, Shandrilla is over there looking and watching the show. So Torin was like, oh, okay, well, thanks for telling me. Nice to meet you. But in his confessional, he was like, this is not the way I wanted to meet this girl for the first time. This is not making no sense to me. I'm just confused as to why she doesn't want anyone from OLG to be involved in Patrick's life when he sees these people all the time. And he was like, well, she doesn't do interiors. That's my job. Well, Torin, I feel like you dodged a bullet because Patrick probably wasn't going to pay nothing no way, y'all. So he goes over to Shandrika and he's venting about feeling annoyed that he got fired and whatnot. So then Shandrika and Brandon go downstairs to the bar and they take a seat. And I don't know if Shandrika sat down or not. She looked like she was sitting, but I was thinking in my mind, girl, now he gonna get an attitude with Brian for sitting down, but you okay to sit down? Okay. So he goes over there. He talking to Dom Unique. He's like, hey, pretty girl. And so she's just looking and whatnot. They're talking. So Shandrika is like, how many restaurants are in Atlanta? And Dominique was like, 1,000,001. She said, oh, okay, well then why are Patrick and Safari sitting at table 9? She was like, girl, what? So Dominique lets us know that Shandrika and Patrick were indeed official. And it was just a work relationship balance that they couldn't get. And I know all too well about that, honey. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the baby. It is not a good idea to work with people you lay down with. If you're in a relationship with someone, please don't work with them, honey. It's a recipe for disaster. Trust me, okay? Take my advice, but don't do it. So Dominique and Brandon started talking about his dinner, and he's like, are you coming? She's like, no, I'm not coming today. He was like, well, I want you to come. I want you to sit next to me. Baby, he done already told his mama. So then they sneak off, and then you hear little smooching noises. Girl, quit playing with this man and go and get together, honey, and find yourself another job, because y'all cannot be fraternizing and kissing in the dry storage if he is going to continue to work here. But see, he seemed like the type that'll quit to be with Dominique, honey, because that thing is sprung. I'm sprung. Girl, she got me. Child, it's a whole fool. Moving forward. In the next scene, Kandi and Todd show up for the town hall, and Kandi says she wants them to speak on it. Honey, she wants them to speak up and speak their speech. If y'all got something to say it to my face, is basically what Kandi was saying. In the next scene, Philip shows up to Andre's house, which is his BFF. And when I tell y'all the two of them are handsome as hell, like they are aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Child, too bad they don't want me. So Philip is over there making drinks and telling Andre all about the things that are going on at the restaurant. And he was like, yeah, you know, one dude named Torin, he came in like a diva. He was like, yes, his personality totally clashed with mine. Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out, why did his personality clash with yours? And I didn't see him coming in as a diva. He came in, he spoke, he went right to work with his Bob the Builder tool belt on, wasn't bothering nobody. You wanted to have a sit down, and then y'all got into it. And did he come in like a diva, or was he commanding the same respect that you wanted? Okay. Back with the Tuckers, Kandi is telling him that, you know, Dominique and Shandrika were talking about everything that was going on with Brian, and they were making it seem like Philip can't get along with nobody, and can't. So Philip won't be at the town hall meeting because they want them to be able to speak freely. Back over with Philip, he was like, you know, I feel like they give them too many chances, so now we are managing behaviors instead of the restaurant, and that's counterproductive. Now I have to say that I agree with that, because it seems like the premise of this show was for Philip to come in and put the hammer down and get things on track. But we are no longer talking about the restaurant, child. We're talking about all things temper tantrums. Everybody tattling on everybody. Everybody got an attitude. They trying to reel everybody in. And Philip, you are included in that. The owners are managing your attitude. You're trying to manage theirs. You can't control your emotions. It just don't make no sense. So at this point, everybody's out of control. Y'all need to get yourselves together. But at least we know you can smile, and I know you have teeth because you were smiling in this scene with Andre. Moving forward. The OLGs show up to the restaurant for the town hall meeting, honey. No meeting will be complete without the OLGs. So Kandi starts the meeting by saying somebody told her that there was some issues, so she opens the floor. One of the servers mentioned that they needed some server trays. Don Juan kind of was like a little snappy. He was like, well, you have them. He said, oh, okay, well, when did they come? He said, they just got here? He said, no, they've been in the back for weeks. So Brandon gonna say, well, I was unaware that they came in. Brandon, how aren't you aware of deliveries? Sir, do you do inventory? If you stop running up behind Dominique, then you would know when things come into the restaurant. So Candy's sitting back and she was like, well, I'm annoyed because we doing our parts and y'all aren't doing yours. So then Rashard was like, well, you know, my grievance is I feel like I'm used to using an iPad, but here I have to call guests from my personal cell phone. And, you know, it's bothersome. Oh, hell no. When I say hell no, I mean hell no. That is a no. That's a no-go, honey. I don't want everybody with my personal phone number. Kandi, y'all need those little buzzers. Stop cutting corners. This is tacky. Girl, now they calling him from his personal cell phone. Y'all have been called from that phone in that restaurant so good. So Todd is like, well, you know, they saying all these things. This is what he's saying in his confessional. You know, and I'm stressed out. Just do y'all's job. Well, y'all also have to take some stock in what they're saying. You called a town hall meeting so that they could discuss their grievances. Why call the meeting just to dismiss their concerns? Ciao. So Don Juan was asking about Philip, and Melvin thinks that he's A1 for the job. He said, I think he's great. You know, I learned a lot from him. Torin was like, oh, okay, well, I don't feel the same. So then Don Juan got up and started twirling around, talking about Torin comes in like, yes, I'm here for the events. And he just sashays in. Don Juan, pipe down and sit down. Philip definitely feels like he is above them, honey. He feels like he's better than them. He called Shandrika an hourly worker, which she is, but it's the way in which he stated it. Then when he met with Torin, he was like, I don't have to explain anything to you. We don't need you. You can go. Then with Brian, He was like, oh yeah, you can leave. You're suspended. Yeah, he thinks he's better than them. And that's that on that. Torrin does wear that title like a badge of honor, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. He definitely does that. But I just feel like him and Philip got off to a wrong start. Like, if they can just reset, Torrin seems reasonable. I think they can get back on track. So Torrin is like, well, I don't even do all that. This is what he said in his confessional. And Don Juan, if you're going to imitate me, at least do it right. I know that's right. So Kandi said, well, Shandrika, I heard you had a lot to say. Did you have something to say? She's like, no, Philip's not here. I'm good. She was like, no. Feel free. Say what you're going to say. Because, honey, you know, Patrick and I already told her what's going on. So you might as well speak. So here go Patrick. Shandrika was going back and forth about the food. And Shandrika was saying, he act like a little kid tattling. Shandrika has said, Patrick, you know what? I understand why your girlfriend doesn't want you around the OLG people, because clearly you are obsessed with all things Shandrika. Yes, I know she was talking and he's one of the family members, but baby, your family owns a restaurant. So therefore, and thus and such, if you're going to hang out with the staff, that's what people do. They talk about what's happening at work, especially if you work in food service. Child, we talk about how dirty the restrooms are, how management sucks, how we had to take 1,000,001 tables, how the food was taking forever to come out, how table this, that, and the third had an attitude. That's what we talk about. So there's no reason to run tell that. But Shandrika, honey, use your thinker. You can't be talking in front of Patrick. He don't see it for you like that. So she tells them that when Melvin is there, the food tastes good, but when he's not there, the food tastes different. Okay, so I feel like this is a teachable moment. I feel like right here, the cooks need to all know the same recipe, because Melvin cannot work every single day. I feel like this is valid because the reviews back this up, and they say that the food is not consistent. So I don't see the problem. So the old lady gang was in the confessional and they was like, don't complain about the food. We got the best food in Atlanta. Sweeties, I respect y'all so much. And I definitely respect my elders. I love the OLG, but baby, them reviews beg to differ. So Kandi asked Melvin, why isn't the food consistent? He was like, well, we have a full staff, so all the food tastes the same. No, it doesn't. Even in large franchises, sometimes the food doesn't taste the same if that particular chef and or cook did not follow the recipes. That's not the truth, honey. This happens in major franchises. So Todd is like, well, his numbers reflect what he's saying. Okay, this is a waste, child. They don't want to hear nothing that goes against the OLG. They only want to hear good things. Like, everybody's getting defensive, and it's a waste of time at this point. So Todd said, listen, in his confession, he said, I like Shandrika, but sometimes I want to fire her. So then one of the servers was like, who wipes down the menus? Her name was Marie. And mind you, she just had this conversation with Shandrika yesterday because they showed the clip. And Shandrika was like, girl, I wiped down the menus. Shut up. Now that was rude, but girl, she just told you that yesterday. She said, we have 10 menus and I wiped them. And I do feel like that was a valid question, because when guests get dirty menus and they get to the table, they take it out on the server. The guest experience starts as soon as they enter the restaurant. So when you give them a dirty menu, they sit down. That's the first thing that they see wrong. From then on, it's a domino effect. Every single thing that could go wrong will go wrong with that table because they're upset about that damn menu. It all started with that menu. And now the server has to take the heat. So I do understand what she's saying, because I've worked in food service before. So the server is like, well, Brandon told me everybody wipes them down. Okay, well, if Brandon told you everybody wipes them down, then why are you asking this question? Girl, honey, I'm kind of like with Shandrika a little bit. Girl, hush. You just want a moment. Girl, gone. So everybody talking, honey, back and forth and back. Kandi is like, we all have to have a mutual respect for each other. I feel like that shut up was unnecessary. Yeah, that was rude. It really was. So Torrin said, listen, if it needs to be done, then you need to do it. Okay, wipe them down. I've seen people overlook stuff because it's not their job. So then Mama Joyce was like, I seen managers walk over paper. So it ain't no teamwork. So then Kandi tells them that she wants to do a team building day so they can learn to work together. Child, ain't gonna work. They do that on every show and it don't never work. So then Mama Joyce pipes up, honey, because y'all know she can't stand Brandon. She can't stand him. She said, I was in the kitchen. I was slaving over a hot stove. I called Brandon on his cellular phone to come help me. He come up there and looked at me and said, nah, y'all got it. Didn't you do it, Brandon? Brandon, now did you? Did you do it? Oh, child, this is a whole fool. When I tell y'all, I've been told y'all Brandon was lazy. He's lazy. He's not doing nothing. If it's not about Dominique, he don't want to do it. He sits at the bar and he comes to work to look at her and he comes to work to eat. So he's like, well, you can ask everybody. I work. You can ask everybody around here. And that's what they did. In the confessional, Don Juan was like, I mean, he's okay when he's present. Shandrika was like, Brandon is useless. I'm sure she's going to throw you under the bus if she don't do nothing else. Patrick was like, yeah, I think he's a good manager, but he gets distracted by a baddie. And so do you, allegedly. So Bertha said, I spoke to Brandon and he ain't speak back. So then Nora said, maybe he probably didn't hear you. She said, nah, he heard me. I said it'll be a cold day in hell before I speak again. Oh, Bertha. When I tell y'all I love me some Bertha, she can be mean, honey, and act like she don't want to be bothered. But deep down, them be the sweetest ones, child. They just don't want you in their personal space. Honey, it's a whole fool. But he did commit a cardinal southern sin. If you come into a place and you don't speak, or if somebody speaks to you and you don't speak back, baby, you are as good as dead to them. Do y'all hear me? Dead. But in the end, he got up to try to hug on Bertha, and she was like, nah, don't touch me. Child, y'all know she wasn't going for that. In the next scene, Torrin goes out to talk to Patrick about how he just basically told him, thank you for your services, like he was Shawnee O'Neal talking to Brandy over on Basketball Wives. So Patrick is like trying to defend himself. He's like, I'm whipped right now. I mean, well, child, at least he admits it. He was like, people just don't understand my relationship. They think I'm possessed. Yes, they do. It's giving toxic, okay? So he apologized to Torrin for how he told him, and Torrin thinks that he should still have a housewarming party, but Patrick was like, nah, my girlfriend don't want it. Child, if she don't want it, don't do it, because she gets on my nerves. So Torrin said that I feel like he's the vagina version of digmatized. It's called pussy whipped. That's what he is. Okay, that's exactly what he is. Soon as he leaves, he calls Safari. He's like, hey, my queen, Torrin was talking about the housewarming, and she's like, no, I already told you no. I'm not comfortable with that. The answer is no. He's like, I'm sorry. What? Baby, her attitude is stank. Do y'all hear me? Y'all know what she might be? She might be his karma. Y'all know how men dog women out, and then when they finally fall in love, then that woman dogged them out. She might be his karma. That's what I'm thinking. Because why are you allowing her to control you? This is not healthy. And why are you allowing her to treat you this way? This is horrible. Moving forward. So Patrick shows up at home from a long day of the parking lot, and Safari is there. And so they start talking about the housewarming of it all. And she was like, no, I just don't want to do that. So she was like, the people from the restaurant do not need to know where you live. Just say you don't want Shandrika to know, girl. That's all you got to say. It's giving insecure. Why are you worried about her? Shout out to Issa Rae. So then he asked what would make her cool with it. He was like, why don't we go over the guest list? So Charlie went over the guest list. She was basically like, no, to everybody that was not family. He was like, I really want her to get to know my friends. He said, okay, what about if we go to Brandon's dinner and then you get the vibe? And then if you feel like they cool, then we can have a housewarming. She was like, oh, okay, I can do that. That's cool. This relationship is tiring. In the next scene, Rashad shows up to Brian's place. Hey, Brian, we miss you. So he's in there fulfilling his orders and whatnot. He said he's in a happy place. He's happy that he got suspended because he's focusing on his business. That's why he has not called Kandi the Burris. And honey, I do not blame you. Okay, sometimes them suspensions can be a blessing. So he over there living out his dreams, rolling up the egg rolls and frying them and whatnot and selling them out of his kitchen. And Rashad is there making him an egg roll, and he fried it, until it couldn't be fried no more. So they sit down. And Brian tells him that he wants a food truck so he can sell his egg rolls. So Brian, listen, okay? This is just between me and you and all the people that are watching this review. What I think you should do is get yourself a business plan, take it to Kandi, and see if she will invest. She loves to pour into the community. She loves a good investment, a solid one, okay? She's all about the shmoney. And on top of that, it looks good with her back in your business, especially with you coming from OLG. Y'all get into it. But if she does it, make sure you give me my credit and whatnot. I'm just kidding. But I do hope she invests in your food truck. So they start talking about the restaurant, and Brian is like, well, Dominique was 3 hours late. Rashad was like, what? Yeah, she was 3 hours late. But she does what she wants to do because she has a different set of rules. Rashad said, so we can't sit at the bar, but the manager can screw the bartender? Yeah, it's looking like. In the next scene, Brandon and Philip sit down, and he invites Philip to his birthday dinner. I thought that was very nice because, no matter what people feel about Philip, I feel like he wants to be included. So the fact that Brandon invited him. I thought that was really nice. And so Philip was like, well, I had a staff meeting and I pick up on nonverbal cues and I think they're starting to warm up to me. Oh, see, he just want to be accepted. Well, Philip, whatever you are doing to make them warm up to you, then you need to do more of that. Back with Kandi and Todd, they get to the restaurant and Don Juan's like, let me pull y'all to the side for a minute. Now, y'all know it ain't no good if Don Juan needs to pull him to the side for just a minute. So he tells them that he hears Shandrika on the phone with Brandon, and she basically said that they shut down what they wanted to say, and Kandi and Todd don't give a... well, quite frankly, I feel like that's true. At the town hall meeting, they were not allowing them to freely speak their speech, and, it was giving... Our restaurant is perfect. Don't you dare talk about anything that has to do with OLG. Don Juan said, well, if this was my restaurant, she would have been terminated. If that's the case, we all be fired. Everybody talks about their boss. Let's be real. I don't know a person who has not talked about their place of employment and or the managers or the people who own the place. Even if you work for a place and you've never seen the CEO and or owner. Walmart need to get themselves together. Target need to get themselves together. They got whole TikToks dedicated to people hating their jobs. Honey, I got a meeting with the superintendent right now. Like, that's just what happens, honey. People talk. She was not in the restaurant. She was having a personal phone conversation that should not have been ran back, Don Juan. You and your Ring camera. I feel like that was a violation. If I'm talking about it in the restaurant where everybody can hear it, that's different. But if I'm having a private conversation over a cell phone, Brandon, you little dum-dum, don't put it on speakerphone. Child, there's cameras everywhere up in here. So Kandi said, well, you know what? Either we're going to have to have a heart-to-heart or we're going to have to let her go. In the next scene is Brandon's birthday dinner. And listen to me, y'all. Is it just me or does Brandon's mom kind of look like Dominique? Especially when she had her hair in that ponytail. I was like, she looks just like Dominique. He said that he and his mom were super close. His parents are from Jamaica. They moved to New York and then they came to the A. So Torrin and Dominique are on their way because she's surprising him because remember she said she wasn't coming. So Patrick and his lady, they show up and Brandon is like, Patrick, he works for me at the restaurant. Ugh, I don't know if I would like that. Trying to be introducing me as working for you. We work together. Point blank in the period. So baby, then Dominique shows up with some flowers. So he introduces her the exact same way. And when I tell y'all his face lit up when she showed up, he was like, she's beautiful, isn't she, y'all? Baby, that boy like him some her. And the mom thought she was really pretty as well. So her and Torrin, they go sit down with Patrick and his queen. And Brandon said her showing up made him see that she was actually really serious about them. So he goes over to her and tells her that he's going to introduce her to his parents. Brandon, you skipping some steps, ain't you? Like, y'all aren't even a thing yet. Like, at this point, y'all just sneaking around. Like, is she your girlfriend? Like, what's going on? So he takes her over to his parentals, right? And I thought that it was really cute. You can tell that he really does like her. And let me just say this. I am here for it if Brandon gonna act right. Now, if he not gonna act right, then leave that girl alone. But he did get a whole job just to be with her. So, there's that. So she leaves Torrin over here with this awkward couple. And he's just sitting there. And he's trying to make a little small talk. And so then they start talking about how Safari has changed him for the better. So Patrick was like, I gotta go to the restroom. So he leaves just Torrin and Safari. And so Torrin was like, I was really embarrassed at how things, went when he just told me that in front of you. And so she apologized. She was like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And he's like, but now that I'm sitting here with you, you I, they started laughing or whatever. And he was like, so are we doing the housewarming? And she's like, well, I'm here to feel things out. Okay. She has a vibe that I do not like. It's real funny acting. Back over with Dominique and Brandon and the parentals. His dad is like, so what's your last name? She said Variety. He said, so what's going to happen when you have to change it to Black? Baby, Dad is smooth, ain't he? Slow down, low down. They not even official yet, Dad. Not you going to give her his last name? Remind you of your wife, don't she? Because they sure look alike. She said, I could see a future with him and an amazing one. Okay, girl. In the next scene, the OLG is buzzing, and this lady at the host stand is like, can I give you some money so I can sit down faster? And Rashad was like, how you know I do that? She said, I've eaten here before. All right, now, don't lose your job so she can get her collard greens before everybody else. She got to wait just like everybody else. Have a seat, ma'am. Okay? He will call you from his personal number in just a moment. So Kandi and Todd stroll in. Well, Todd is sitting out in the back, and Kandi strolls in. She make a small talk, but in the back of her mind, she knows what Shandrika been saying. And so Kandi is like, well, I'm kind of nervous to talk to her, but I mean, if she don't have an attitude like that, then she can go. So Todd was like, well, you ready to talk? Kandi was like, now? Yes, now, honey, let's get it on over with. So she pulls Shandrika outside. They go outside to talk, and Todd was like, we feel like when we did the town hall, you didn't get to say anything. Kandi said, look, I'm just going to keep it real. We heard that you said after the meeting that we don't give a F. So then in her confessional, she going to say, who said that? Me? Who said that? Immediately, no. You're fired. You're done. Girl, how you going to reference a Portia Williams saying in a Kandi Bird's production? Oh, no, ma'am, honey. You cannot do that. Like, I know they semi-cool. I don't know what they got going on, child. But that's just something you don't do, honey. I said, oh, now who said that? Shout out to season 9. So she talking to Todd, and she was like, well, people were saying a lot of things. And Todd is like, I don't understand how y'all saying these things. We're trying. You can see that we're here and we're trying. She's like, I'm sorry, but everybody was saying the same stuff, but I'm sorry about that. And again, people talk crap about where they work, especially in the restaurant business. Like, people do that. I'm more concerned with y'all watching these tapes to eavesdrop on these people. That's what I'm more concerned about. And y'all also are creating a very toxic work environment. And the reason why I say that is because in the back of her mind, she's going to know that the only person she had that conversation with was Brandon. So now she's going to assume that Brandon dropped a dime on her and squealed to y'all. She doesn't know that Don Juan is the one that watched that beautiful bean footage back and got the tea. So now she going to go back and have an attitude with Brandon for no apparent reason. So she was like, who told y'all that? And Todd was like, well, everybody talk. Girl, it doesn't matter who told him that, you said it. So girl, go on, speak your speech. He said, well, do you see how saying that can keep like stuff going? Kandi said, listen, our question to you is, do you want to be here? And scene. And that was the end of the episode. It didn't do too much, honey. The Oscars were doing more than this was. Child, it's a whole fool. I see Shandrika is on the next episode, so clearly she didn't get fired, but she had tears welling up in her eyes when she got caught. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. If you watched it, please let me know if you feel like what Shandrika did was right or wrong. I mean, I feel like she was having a conversation and she was not at work, so I don't see the problem, but that's just me. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.